did you get out of the car?
The Neutron system is based on a small compact base plate, which is backwards compatible with all current GDU gear. It has a new quick release 40 millimeter plate that quick releases into our touch and go system. It has rails that come off the front for rigging that are at the correct distances. There's also extensions that go off the side that can be jogged back and forth. From those extensions, you can also add different accessories that allow you to put rosettes, quarter 20s, keyed 3/8/16 accessories, and so we're going through a full new generation of accessories for DSLRs. The key takeaway from this entire package right here is this package fits on any DSLR on the market: Canon, Sony, Nikon, Leica, Sigma. Like any one of these cameras, this exact system you can put on it. We're going modular. So we redesigned the Atlas handle for the Atlas Neutron. The Atlas Neutron works with a rosette, and the rosette basically, you can see it right here. It turns, and you turn it 180 degrees, and the rosette is spring loaded and moves around. All of these do the same thing. So anytime you need to move your handle, you can move it with a rosette. The other thing about these handles is that they are symmetrical and reversible and universally modular. Now they have, if you look here, they have quarter 20 mounting on each side. So you can mount like run, start, stop switches. There's different little pieces that you can put in the side. Like you can see right here, this is a quarter 20 mount, but you can pull that off and you can turn that around. There's also, if you look at the bottom here, there's a piece right here with threaded screws that also built into the front. And what that allows me to do is have a run, stop. I have another little piece here. I have a spot for a shotgun mic, and I have a spot for probably one of the most important pieces in the system, which is the GDU Mighty Mount. These two little pieces right here, that little micro 15 millimeter adapter and this piece right here comprise the Mighty Mount. Now this little 15 millimeter adapter attaches with one screw, and it has about an inch of 15 millimeter rail. We use a 15 millimeter standard because that is the standard. People trust their lives with it, and they trust hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment with it. We also threaded the end so you can extend this as much as you want. If you look at these, the Mighty Mount right here, you can see that there's multiple quarter 20 mounting. It has a captured quarter 20 and a new micro kipping wing nut. Now that micro kipping wing nut has a big hole in it, so if you get into a situation where you need to add more torque, but it's starting to hurt your hands, you stick a driver up to a 3/16 in there, and you can get all the torque that you need. What makes the next piece of the system is what we call the universal monitor mount. And the universal monitor mount, what it does, it adds an axis of rotation. You don't see it on this camera, but you'll see it over here on this Raptor. It allows you to mount, so this guy's got double on it. So let's reduce this back down to what it would actually be. This right here is the universal monitor mount. So you unscrew those, and basically it gives you the ability to move, slide. You can pull this off like that. You can reverse it. It's symmetrical. You can flip this thing around. You can mount it on any place on the top of the Raptor that has 50 millimeter screw placement, which is left side, right side, top, front of the camera, and on the bottom. So if you want to run this off the front and you want to have a totally clear top plate, that's an option for you. The other thing is there's a slot in the middle with a threaded entry in one end, so you can mount this to anything that has screw distances that is more than 12 millimeters. So this truly makes this a universal monitor mount. With these different types of options, like this allows you to pull this monitor off, go over to the side over here. You can have your monitor over here while you're working on your UI, anywhere. So these little guys are going to be your friends. You can put them all over the camera. They can come all the way to the front of the camera up on your matte box, and you can put them here. You can mount a Mighty mount on the rail, and so that the Mighty mount is rail based, so that can slide back and forth. And you can put a micro adapter on there, and your monitor can go there as well. So the idea here is that your gear is only limited by your imagination. What we're giving you is a set of universal tools to systematically create anything the individual can possibly think of. One more thing about this that's really cool about using this with the R5C and a lot of the other DSLRs is that if you have a flip out screen, then you can use the flip out screen, and then you can use pieces of the Quantum system with the Neutron plate, and you can use a little piece. So this is a small V-lock adapter, and you have a big battery. The battery just mounts right on there, and you can run your camera. I ran this camera for 12 hours yesterday. I mean, I wasn't running it the entire time, but it was on standby, ready to go. So let's talk about this matte box. And working with David Fincher designing the Xenon, one of the things he really wanted was to be able to pick up the entire camera and swing it around his head by the matte box. That was one of the instructions that we were tasked with. So we created that for him in the Xenomorph. So the idea kind of started percolating there. So then we're like, do that on a system like the Raptor or the Komodo or anything like that. I'm like, okay, we have nice big 20s at 90 millimeter distance. So the first piece that we created was this side bracket, and this is a side bracket where the rails are 60 millimeters apart and 84 millimeters from optical center, so it's the same distance that you're used to as in any bottom-mounted lightweight studio setup. Again, it uses the micro wing nuts. The other thing that we did, it has captured screws here, and the other thing we did is we gave you back the quarter-20s that you lost when you bolted this in. So you can remount your Atlas handles, your Twig handles, any handle that works with any handle that works with a Raptor. So from there, we've got a whole new set of rods. So the rods here, these are our ultralight rods. They've been machined out, poured out. All of the ends are tapped so they can be extended if needed. And that brings us out to the matte box. And so the matte box comes into those rails at that same 85 millimeter distance from optical center and 60 millimeter distance. The sides of the mat box have the same, like basically you tighten down the rods by using these Pippin wing nuts. And again, on the mat box, we give you back those mounting points that were taken away from you. So there was the same mounting points that are on the Raptor. So you've already purchased Atlas handles from Global Dynamics United. You can use these on this mat box. Also on these Atlas handles, you got a lot of different types of bolting. You can see how he's got the run stop right here. And this whole piece is a frame, and it's symmetrical side to side. So when you look at this side of the mat box, you can run rails on this side, and you could put that side piece over here too if you wanted to. So you could technically have 4 rails running around this piece, or you could have 2 top rails, 2 bottom rails, 2 left, 2 right. I'm super excited about it. Dude, it's epic. Now this is an accessory system for everybody. And my name is Matt Tremblay. I'm co-owners with this with Jared Land. We've developed this system together. We hope you like it. And go to globaldynamicsunited.com to buy it. All this stuff should be on the website and ready for sale by next Friday. So get ready for it. We're gonna get a lot of pictures. We're gonna do a new video series documenting each one of these pieces, showing you how to put these rigs together, giving you different examples, talking about design philosophy, why we do things one way or not do them another. So get ready, it's gonna get crazy.
You guys turning off?
Here with Mike Sutton and Avery Edebogan with Mutiny. So what do we got going on?
So we're showing our I/O boxes. We got Raptor I/O, the new Komodo X I/O, and then our original Komodo I/O or battery I/O. So you've got 9-pin breakout, two Lima powers, time code, gen lock, DC in, a record button with a tally light on the top, RS, and then this other side you have our eFuse. So those 3, the RS and the 2 Limos, are 6 amp rated. If that you exceed that, it'll blow the eFuse, but you just press the reset button, it'll reset it. That's the same essentially eFuse circuit that's in our Raptor I/O. These are very similar. You just have a few more RS ports on this and a little bit different port placement. We've got our bolt-on triggers, which are, you can just bolt on anywhere with a quarter 20. And we've got those in that go to Fisher or
9-pin.
or 9-pin. Yep. We also offer those with Fuji and Canon and Sony as well.
Yeah. And the difference is the Raptor I/O has a full-size battery plate. The layout's a little bit different on the connectors, whereas the Komodo X version of it is for the smaller batteries. Not that you can't put a bigger battery on it, but is just a little bit different of a port layout. A lot of it's on the operator side, which some people might not want, but it does have a couple extra features. This will also work on Raptor, but not the bracing plate system. And this brace allows you to not accidentally pop off the battery unit. Raptor I/O has a different bracing system for bright tangerine plates, 8-SIN or direct to Raptor, and it screws into this part here. So a little bit different layout on the two. This is really to accommodate X. You can technically use it with that, but I have a feeling that Raptor guys will probably use the full-size version of that. And then there's something new for battery I/O for Komodo that has come out soon. We make our own battery plates now, so we're starting to roll these out pretty soon. And what we've done is we've added the DC input directly onto the plate. We've also recessed the positive pins so that the ground always hits first, which will obviously aid in the any 12G SDI monitor issues. And then we've added a 2-pin on the top as well. And this now can go from vertical to horizontal without an adapter plate. So you just, the 4 screws, so you can have it whatever orientation you want. And it just kind of lays out our ports a little bit better the way we want it to versus a generic plate that is kind of made for everything. So, and that'll be in V mount and gold mount. And all of these systems are gold or V as well. You're just changing the plate out. You're not buying a whole new unit. The exception is the battery for Komodo also has a DeWalt adapter, so you can use power tool batteries. So that's the main difference on that. So we have this is just a prototype, but we're pretty close. We have all the boards made up. We did this in conjunction with Freak Show HD because they are the 12G masters. We came up with the invention of it, the idea of it. They proofed it out. They designed the board based on our qualifications. But as you know, if you're using 12G, there's a process for disconnecting the cable to try to prevent any power spikes back to the camera on the signal pin. So instead of doing that, what this does is it has the Freak Show circuitry built right in it, which is one layer of protection. But when you flick the switch into isolator mode, what it does is it cuts the signal altogether. So there's ground constantly, but no signal. So there's no way for the power to go back. And if it does, it's going to hit the Freak Show board first, but you've already cut it. So even when you switch this, when you remove a battery, it's still in full isolation mode. So it's not like it stops working. It's until you flick it back, then you're good to go. So instead of unhooking the cable, all you do is flick the switch. You put it back in, flick it back. There'll be instructions on the back. It has power pass-through, so whatever you put in comes out the other end. That way you're not losing a port on your camera. And it's nice and compact, so you can pretty much mount it anywhere you want. This obviously isn't a DA, but it is an isolator that has 2 layers of protection, and it's pretty bulletproof. So we're excited about this coming out pretty soon. And we have this little box here that we've invented. This again is with Freak Show. A couple customers have asked for a multiple DA box, basically to have 8, in this case it's 8 inputs and 16 outs. So for each input there's 2 outputs. So instead of having a bunch of throw down DAs like a bunch of these, it kind of puts it all incorporated into one box with a Arca style dovetail built in, power in and a loop power out, so that you're not losing a port again. So this is great for like if you're doing a lot of ISO feeds, or if you have a DIT cart and you just need to feed a bunch of different signals from multiple cameras to multiple monitors. Nice compact way to do that. And then of course we make all kinds of cables and for pretty much everything under the sun, including some oddball ones like one I invented here for this guy, Scott Malcolm. Basically you plug it in a DTAP, it gives you a DTAP pass-through so you can still power something else. And then these interchangeable ends, so you can go to like an Adamus or a Free World or what have you. But you could also change it to like a LEMO 2 pin if you wanted. So you're not buying a whole new power system. And then we have some real oddballs too, like this, which is DTAP that powers your Komodo, but also your monitor. In this case, Adamus. Other things like little pigtails for the Komodo to keep easy access to your SDI without having to fish in there. However, you get our isolator, that's not going to be an issue. But you might need some nice short custom cables to tie those all in together, so we do those as well.
Yeah.
Where can they find it?
We also got a GDU Mutiny co-branded AirTag lens
HVT
caps.
Yeah.
So you've got them in RF, EF, PL, and E. And yeah.
Just a nice way to track your camera bodies when they're in their cases. Yeah, people could see if they're being tracked, but the idea is you'll know where your camera is. And like, for example, I just got some insurance for us before the show. And one of the questions that Athos asks is, do you use any kind of AirTag tracking system? And you actually get a discount for doing that. So it's actually pretty handy. And we've seen a nice spike in sales on those because people just don't want their stuff stolen, and neither do we. So
where can they find to buy?
You can get the HVT caps from us at the Mutiny.store or from Global Dynamics United directly. I would suggest if you're on the West Coast, get them from Global Dynamics. If you're on the East Coast, get them from us. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We've partnered on that product, and everything else, Mutiny.store.